Gold Rush Season 15. The shocks keep coming. Parker Schnabel, the legend of the Yukon. In just 11 years of mining, he's pulled over 63,000 ounces of gold. That's nearly 2,000 kilograms of pure gold. At today's prices, that's over $200 million. But in 2024, Parker faces his biggest challenge yet. This season is unlike anything he's seen before. Last year, he dropped $15 million buying gold-rich ground. He mined over 7,000 ounces? Solid numbers. But here's the problem. All that gold he mined barely covered what he paid for the land. And his mining rights? Only 7 years left. Based on the proven gold reserves in the ground and the gold content left in the time remaining, Parker must mine thousands of ounces every single year. That means massive amounts of dirt moved, massive amounts of washing. It's an enormous strain on people and machines. But gold prices keep climbing, and every miner out there is hungry for it. Parker's first stop this year? The strip mine, where his crew worked hard last season. Last fall, they stripped the overburden and left it ready for the new season. All set to start digging gold. Parker believes there's $7 million worth of gold buried here. To hit the company's 10,000-ounce annual goal, Parker needs this mine to produce at least 430 ounces per week. Every week. That's an incredibly tough target. Foreman Mickey and Tyson waste no time. They fire up the wash plant and start moving the shaker into position. But moving the wash plant hits a problem right out of the gate. On the way to the strip mine, snowmelt has washed out the road completely. The truck is loaded heavy with equipment. No way it can cross. They'll have to fill it in and rebuild the road. Tyson hops on the loader himself and calls Tame to bring a truck to help. Tame hauls in several tons of coarse tailings and dumps them into the washout to block the water. Tyson grabs the loader and levels it all out so the trailer hauling the wash plant can get through safely. They make it. Wash plant delivered to the strip mine. With everything in place, water lines connected, power on, shaker aligned, everything's ready. They're almost ready to launch. This time, Parker himself comes out to check on the strip mine. And because this year's workload is massive, Parker decides to run 2 shifts from day 1, full 24-hour operations. The plan is aggressive, no question, but Mickey knows the truth. If you don't push hard, that 10,000-ounce annual target is just a dream. No time to wait. Tyson and Mickey jump straight into digging pay dirt, but the second Tyson starts digging, he spots a problem. This isn't the gold-bearing layer they expected to find. It looks more like a pile of sand. With years of experience in gold mining, Tyson knows there's no gold in sand. To confirm his suspicion, Tyson grabs a gold pan and tests it himself. Just as he feared, not a single flake of gold in the pan. He brings Mickey over to take a look. The two quickly figure out the overburden wasn't stripped deep enough last year. They're nowhere near the gold-bearing layer yet. If that's true, it means they've already spent hundreds of thousands, and they'll need weeks more to keep stripping. The whole operation plan just got blown up. Both of them go straight to Parker and drop this devastating news on him. The wash plant is ready to roll, but without gold-bearing dirt, it can't run. Parker is stunned. How did this go so wrong? This sudden setback throws the entire operation off track. But it's the reality they're in. Parker needs to find something fast, something that can produce gold right now. He scans the area. His eyes land on an old dirt pile near the plant, left behind by the previous landowner, just sitting there untouched. But Mickey's skeptical. He thinks that pile probably has almost no gold. It might even be tailings. If it was worth anything, the previous owner would have washed it already. But Parker has no other options. He pins all his hopes for week 1 on that old dirt pile. Mickey is not happy about it. They're already drowning in overburden work. Now they're splitting the crew to sift through what might be worthless dirt. For Mickey, already short-handed, this is a serious headache. But the boss called it. Mickey can't overrule Parker. And since Parker made the call, arguing isn't going to change anything. Tyson has no choice but to follow orders. They split into 2 teams. Mickey handles overburden stripping at the strip mine. Tyson moves the second wash plant over to that old dirt pile left behind by the previous mine owner and gets ready to process it. Moving the wash plant is easy work for Tyson. Sure enough, he gets it relocated and assembled in no time. And just like that, they fire up the hopper and feed in the very first load of dirt this season. Parker's 2024 gold rush has officially begun. So in week 1 of the 2024 season, how much gold did they actually pull? Did that old dirt pile from the previous owner have any gold at all? The end of the week arrives. Everyone crowds into the gold room, buzzing with excitement. They started processing earlier this year than last year? Way earlier. Gold in week 1? That's new. Everyone's pumped. They want a strong start. Then Chris pours out the gold from the shaker. The room goes silent. Just 5.6 ounces. That's only 174 grams of gold. Honestly, it looks like somebody's pulling a prank. 5.6 ounces in 34 hours of running. That's only 0.165 ounces per hour. Running at 200 yards per hour through the big red machine, that's just 0.08 ounces per yard. Terrible. Anyone can see it now? That old pile was a fake out left by the previous owner. Parker got played. The old owner was cunning, He knew exactly what he was doing. He left behind worthless dirt as a decoy. Parker never expected his 2024 season to open with back-to-back disasters. Right out of the gate, he's already behind. So what's Parker going to do next week? Only the Gold Rush King himself could survive this. His total haul for the first week of 2024. That's just pocket change for most people. A grand total of 5.6 ounces, 174 grams. And on top of that, Parker just set a brand new record in his career, and not a good one. The worst weekly haul of his life. Parker set a 10,000 ounce goal this year. At current gold prices, 1 ounce is going for $2,500. 10,000 ounces? That's $25 million. But at this point, Parker has to own up to his mistake. Last year at Klondike Valley, the stripping work at the strip mine was left unfinished. Parker miscalculated the depth of the overburden. Everything was ready, wash plant, crew, equipment, and they still couldn't mine a single ounce. Just sand and dirt, zero gold. To get gold fast, Parker used the big red machine to process the dirt left by the previous owner. The results came in fast, alright, just not good. Turns out that dirt was almost certainly tailings. 34 hours of running, 200 yards processed, and they only got 5.6 ounces. Now Parker's in real trouble. They just came through a brutal winter. The ground is still frozen solid, including the strip mine where the stripping was left halfway done. To get gold moving fast, Parker throws every piece of equipment into action. And to make it work, Parker comes up with a clever plan. He keeps the crew focused. Right along the edge of the mine, they'll cut a strip, 2.4 kilometers of ditches. The ditches drain the overburden and at the same time speed up thawing of the frozen ground. And the soil they pull out of those ditches? It's gold rich, enough to feed the wash plant right away and start producing gold. 3 problems solved in one move. The 2 foremen lead the ditch digging operation. Mickey goes first, breaking through the frozen ground with a ripper attachment. He cracks the ice and lets the water drain out. Tyson follows right behind Mickey, scooping up the loosened dirt with his excavator and stacking it up so the wash plant has a steady supply of material. They're pushing hard, trying to get over the first hurdle of the season. But Permafrost doesn't go down without a fight. While Mickey's ripping through the frozen ground, a sharp grinding noise comes from the excavator turntable. Then it completely stops rotating. Mickey knows immediately, this is bad. He calls Taylor over right away to take a look. Taylor shows up with tools and starts diagnosing. But when they open it up and pull the drive, Taylor is absolutely shocked. The bearings inside the drive have completely fallen apart. The whole bottom is destroyed. When Taylor pulls out the gears, the damage is crystal clear. The entire gear shaft has snapped. Clean break. That broken shaft is basically scrap metal now. This is a catastrophic failure. Anyone can see that. The problem? Mickey has no backup excavator he can swap in. Parker has every working machine already deployed. This was the last 480, the only one left. Mickey has no choice but to pause the ripping work. Parker gets the news and can only reassign Tyson's excavator to handle small tests. Tyson is stuck reshaping dirt piles instead. To fix this fast, the whole repair crew, every hand available, is called in to tackle this 480. They have to split the excavator in half, top half from the bottom half. 30 bolts hold the 2 halves together. Every one of them has to come out. Then, at the rear of the excavator, they position 2 hydraulic jacks. While the jacks push up, they coordinate with the excavator arm itself to lift the entire upper section. Finally, they can slide the lower half out. The mechanic assesses the damage and gets to work. The whole repair crew works together as one unit. Like a well-oiled machine, they remove the connecting bolts, the hydraulic jacks are set, and the mechanics work in sync to hoist the top half. The jack and the excavator arm must push at the same time for a perfectly level lift. If it tilts, it could tip. Someone could get hurt. With the whole crew calling out and coordinating, the excavator is finally split in 2. The lower half slides out. When Taylor checks the damage up close, he finds a pile of shattered gear and bearing debris. They need to clean out the entire turntable before they can fully assess it. Once they clear the oil away, Taylor can see exactly what happened. The gear punched a hole clean through the connecting disc. The excavator's rotation system runs on 2 rotary drives at the base. When one of those drives blew, the gear it launched smashed a hole right through the steel ring gear below. Fortunately, it's fixable. They just need the machine shop to cut out the damaged section, fit a steel plate of the same size, and weld it back in. Good to go. With a full crew on it, the work flies. They cut the damaged area, shape the steel plate, then weld it back in and grind it smooth. The hole is patched in no time. Fresh grease goes in, and the excavator goes back together. In the middle of all this, a familiar face shows up at Parker's camp. It's Brennan. He's been working with Kevin, Tony Beets' oldest son, on Kevin's new crew. Kevin had broken away from his father, Tony Beets, to go solo. They're here because they need a spare ripper attachment from Parker's junk pile. Parker is genuinely happy to see Brennan again. Brennan is like Rick, one of those people who had Parker's back during the hardest times. Even though Brennan's on a different team now, for Tony's son, Parker makes an exception. A ripper hook he wasn't using anyway? Parker just hands it over for free. Back at the shop, the mechanics slide the lower half back in and carefully lower the top half of the excavator back down. This part takes the most time. All 30 bolt holes have to line up perfectly. You can't force it. Tiny adjustments, inch by inch, until the two halves finally click together. Then they bolt in a brand new rotary drive. The excavator is back in business. Parker wraps up with Kevin across camp and heads over to check on the repair. He's not even surprised it got fixed so fast. After all, in the entire Yukon, no other crew comes close to Parker's mechanic lineup. The 480 is fixed, it's back to work, and Parker couldn't be more pleased. Mickey is back on the repaired excavator fast. He teams back up with Taylor to keep digging trenches at the strip mine. But this week, there's no way they're running pay dirt through the plant. Fast forward to the weekend, Parker heads to Chris's gold room again. But this time, it's not away, just a check-in to review the numbers. 2 weeks in, total haul, 36.4 ounces. Honestly, this is shaping up to look just like last year's rough start. The one thing Parker knows for sure is that the gold is definitely in the ground here, but with daily expenses piling up, cash flow is becoming his biggest headache. The financial pressure on Parker is intense. Chris pulls Parker aside. We need to find a way to pull some gold. The company needs cash, and it needs it now. Parker already knows this, but they've pushed through tough spots before, one after another. He trusts his team. They'll break through before the cash runs dry and find the gold first. So will Parker have gold to show next week? Parker sets a 10,000-ounce target, 311 kilograms for the 2024 season, but right out of the gate, he got off to a terrible start. Only 174 grams? 5.6 ounces? In his first 2 weeks. Parker can't help but shake his head at how the season has gone so far. But there's a silver lining. The ditch work from last week has started stockpiling the first batch of usable material. That's about to pay off. The brand new wash plant that arrived last season, the shaker, is finally about to run. Tyson and Mickey start setting up the wash plant, getting everything ready for the next round of processing. Parker comes out to check on the setup. He's got full confidence in Mickey and Tyson, but he can't help feeling a little anxious. Parker looks both of them in the eye and says, "Once you start running, don't you dare stop." Pretty soon, the wash plant is fully set and ready to go. Tyson fires up the pump. Water flowing to the shaker? Converted. Mickey's side kicks in two. Power connected to the shaker. This wash plant sat idle for months. Now it's firing up for the first time this season. Emma drives the loader over to start feeding dirt. The first load of soil rolls toward the wash plant. The shaker kicks off its first official run of the 2024 season. But then, Emma dumps in the second shovel of dirt, and something goes wrong with the wash plant. The drainage trough below the sluice starts acting up. Wastewater starts overflowing the trough, eroding the foundation of the wash plant. If nobody stops it, the water will slowly eat away at the base, and the whole structure could become unstable. Tyson refuses to shut it down. He jumps on the excavator fast, grabs some old tires and rocks, and tries to block the overflow and redirect the water. But it's just a band-aid fix. With no real solution available, Mickey and Tyson make the call to shut down the wash plant. The shaker ran for less than 10 minutes before going down. Mickey immediately starts troubleshooting. His read: the trough is positioned too far away, not enough drop for the water to flow right. It needs to be repositioned. They pull out the 9-meter drainage trough first, redig the trench with the excavator to fix the grade, then drop the trough back in and run a test to see if the water now flows the way it should. Tyson is on it immediately, working with Mickey to redig and reposition the drainage trough correctly. Once everything is adjusted, they reconnect the water line and fire it up again. This time, Mickey watches the shaker personally. The overflow issue is gone. Problem solved. The wash plant is back to running normally. Parker trusts Mickey and Tyson to handle it. He's confident that even when problems pop up, those two will sort it out fast. But 2 days later, Mickey does his regular inspection of the wash plant and notices the far end of the sluice has low water flow. That's bad news for gold settling. Tyson heads straight to the shaker to investigate and finds some of the spray nozzles are clogged. This kind of thing happens when the pump sucks up muddy water full of silt, leaves, and debris, all of it blocking up the nozzle outlet. Mickey shuts down the plant again to check what's happening at the pump. Tyson uses the excavator to lift the water inlet out. The filter at the inlet is packed with silt and garbage, and Mickey finds the filter itself is damaged. A hole was torn right through it. That's why the nozzles on the wash plant got clogged. They need to clean out all the mud and debris and weld a brand new screen onto the filter to seal the pump inlet properly. It's like this wash plant launched under a bad sign. Emma, operating the loader, clips the conveyor bracket with the loader bucket. Just one more thing going wrong. It never rains, but it pours. Tyson hears the crash and rushes over. Emma threaded the loader bucket right into the bracket wheel. Dead center. Flat tire. The feed conveyor belt starts to drift out of alignment. Mickey is completely speechless. You just can't make this stuff up. The season just started, and after sitting idle all winter, some of the crew are still shaking off the rust. One problem at a time? Let's get through them all. Mickey grabs a mechanic first and heads to the pump inlet to weld a new filter screen onto the filter box. Pump inlet is fixed. Then he takes the mechanic with him over to the shaker to strip out the blocked spray nozzles. Pull all the packed sludge out. Every bit of leaves and debris gets cleared. Nozzles are back to normal. Last thing, Tyson takes a mechanic with him to deal with the busted bracket tire on the conveyor. They take one look at the hole in that tire. No way to patch it. It's done. And a conveyor bracket tire? That's not something you replace every day. Predictably, it's not sitting in their parts inventory. They'll need to order one. To get the conveyor running again fast, they yank the wheel off entirely and use wooden blocks to shin the hub up to the right height. The wash plant isn't moving anyway. The conveyor doesn't need to roll. It's a rough fix. Sure, but it's quick and it works. Fastest way to solve the tire problem right now. With every issue handled, Tyson and Mickey restart the whole operation. The wash plant that's been down for hours is finally running again. The goal isn't just keeping the machine going, it's about urgency. Everyone needs the strip mine to start producing gold. Watching gold hit the scales, that's what keeps everyone going. When the end of the week rolls around, the core members of Parker's team all gather in the gold room. This is the biggest gold weigh of the season so far. Parker is about to find out if their first run at the strip mine this season actually paid off. If the numbers disappoint, the entire season plan and the 10,000 ounce goal take a serious hit. Chris starts the gold pour. Every eye in the room is locked on the scale. Chris pours out the gold piece by piece, and the number comes in 30.8 ounces. That's 957 grams of gold. Mickey's face says it all. Yeah, it wasn't a full week of processing, only a few days of actual run time. But still, congratulations, Parker. 3 weeks into the gold rush, the total haul sits at 36.4 ounces. Against a 10,000 ounce annual target, they need to average 475 ounces per week. Let's be honest here, the gap between what they've pulled and what they need is enormous. Parker goes quiet. Is it just that the gold content in the ditch section at the strip mine is low? Or is the whole strip mine a dud? It shouldn't be. Liam surveyed this ground himself. Even with some margin of error, it shouldn't be this bad. Parker desperately needs a patch of dirt that can turn this around. Because if this keeps up, bankruptcy is right around the corner. The start of the season, just over 1.1 kilograms of gold in 3 weeks. Parker's 2024 gold rush is looking painful. Setting a record this year, the 10,000 ounce annual target, at their current weekly average of 12 ounces, they are moving forward, but the road ahead is very long. To make up ground, Parker splits his crew in two. One team opens up a brand new mine site. The other keeps working the strip mine. Right now, the only material the wash plant's shaker can run is coming from the ditch section at the strip mine. And even that supply is starting to run thin. If Mickey can't dig up gold-bearing soil at the strip mine fast, the wash plant is going to shut down again. But Mickey has his own problems to deal with. He's stripped about 4 acres of overburden at the 20-acre strip mine. That 4-acre section is loaded with boulders, and that's not even his biggest worry. As he chips away at the overburden layer by layer, he starts to suspect the bedrock is sloping downward. Gold tends to settle and collect along the bedrock and in the 60-centimeter layer just above it. If the bedrock drops too deep, the frozen ground on top will be extremely thick. And if that's the case, reaching the gold-bearing soil quickly is nothing but a fantasy. On top of that, for Parker's 10,000 ounce annual goal, it would be a disaster. Mickey runs the numbers. Even if bedrock sits at 4.5 meters down, he figures the team can still handle it, thaw the permafrost in time and get to the gold-bearing soil. But the deeper they go, the slower everything gets. If that depth hits 7.5 meters, Mickey thinks there's absolutely no point spending this whole season here. So Mickey brings Parker over and lays out exactly what he's up against. They need to know the true depth of the bedrock. That's the only way to know if this strip mine is worth pursuing. Parker immediately realizes it'll cost money to bring in a drilling crew, but he also knows there's no way around it. Without knowing the exact depth, nobody can plan how much time and money this site will actually cost, and that uncertainty alone could derail the 10,000 ounce season goal entirely. So Parker calls in the $20,000 a day drill truck. Back again, Liam leads the team running horizontal drill tests across the site to map the depth of the bedrock. 20 grand on the line? Results are coming fast. Based on the drilling results, the deepest point hits 4.8 meters. That is undeniably good news for Parker and the crew. Mickey breathes a massive sigh of relief. He can finally commit fully, push forward with the overburden stripping and permafrost thawing at the mine. And to speed things up even further, cutting down on manpower and fuel, Mickey brings out the Monster Conveyor to join the operation. That 45-meter conveyor runs at full speed. hauling away all the useless overburden and dumping it far outside the mine. Just as Mickey is picturing a better road ahead, the monster conveyor suddenly stops dead. Then the belt starts slowly reversing. Mickey spots the issue immediately and stops digging at once. Something's wrong with this machine, but Mickey keeps the team moving on the overburden. Keeping progress going at the mine matters more than him stopping to fix equipment, so he calls a mechanic to come handle the conveyor. The repair crew pulls the conveyor out of the mine and immediately starts a full inspection. Pretty quickly, Bill finds the problem: the drive shaft under the hopper. The soil inside the hopper is moved by the drive shaft at the base, which drives the sprocket in the belt to push material to the next conveyor. But now, from metal fatigue under intense workload, the entire drive shaft and sprocket have completely shattered, basically turned to scrap. The fix is actually straightforward though. Swap in a new shaft, bolt on 2 new sprockets, and put it all back together. Back in service. The only question is whether they have the spare parts. Rick definitely wouldn't have them, but Parker, he runs the best stocked repair crew in the Yukon. Of course they'd have parts like this. Even for rare, uncommon components, their warehouse is ready. In short order, 2 mechanics swap out the busted drive shaft that was basically kindling, pull it out, and replace it with a fresh set of sprockets. Shane goes back on, and the monster conveyor is back up and running. Meanwhile, Parker gets another visitor at his camp. Kevin again. This time around, Kevin wants to buy a haul truck from Parker. Why not go to his dad Tony Beets instead? Simple, Kevin's gone independent. If he shows up asking Tony for equipment, not only would it cost him more, he might catch a beating too. Better to ask Parker. Parker walks Kevin straight over to his row of idle trucks for sale. A lineup of Volvo A40s. Each one can carry 40 tons of material. Each truck's in different condition, but Parker doesn't have time to price them separately. Flat rate, 112 ounces of gold per truck. Kevin picks one out fast. Only problem? He just launched and has no cash on hand. He needs credit? Pay Parker when the gold starts coming in. For old friends, Parker isn't too strict about these things. Parker agrees to let Kevin pay later, just telling him to give it everything he's got, make something of himself out there, and show Tony Beets what he's made of. Back at camp, the monster conveyor has been fixed and cleared the repair crew's test run with flying colors. What had been a major headache for the whole team got sorted by Parker's crew in just 6 hours. 6 hours? Back in operation. You have to say it? Parker's repair operation is on another level. With the monster conveyor back online, Mickey can push the overburden clearing full throttle. No more surprises? The team makes it through to the weekend. It's that golden moment again. This week, they're still processing soil from the ditch section, not yet from the 4-acre overburden zone they opened first. The permafrost still needs more time to thaw before they can dig out the gold-bearing soil underneath. They head straight into the gold way. Last week they pulled just over 30 ounces. Did they do better this week? 99.45 ounces? That's 3.1 kilograms of gold. A full month into the 2024 gold rush, Parker's crew finally breaks triple digits. Total haul so far, 135.85 ounces. In a month, they haven't even sold 1 truckload worth. So honestly, at this rate, does Parker still have a shot at hitting 10,000 ounces this year?